excuse me, sir, you've got a bit of a loose button there. I notice these sort of things.
Take your hands off me! Take your hands off him!
Get off, Governor.
Where's my monocle?
It seems to be in my hand, Herr General.
Does your hand need a monocle?
Hogan's Heroes brought laughter to millions with its clever humor and unforgettable characters. But for some of the cast, life off-screen was far more tragic. One leading star's life ended in a shocking and violent mystery that remains unsolved. Another passed away after a painful health battle, leaving fans heartbroken. But despite the heartbreak, one cast member's journey became a powerful story of survival and hope. Their lives took unexpected turns. What really happened to the cast will leave you speechless. Richard Dawson as Corporal Peter Newkirk. Richard Dawson became a beloved television personality through his portrayal of Corporal Peter Newkirk in the classic sitcom Hogan's Heroes. As the clever and witty British member of the POW team, Newkirk served as the group's resident con artist, safecracker, and master of disguise. Known for his sharp tongue, smooth accent, and knack for impersonation, Newkirk frequently played a key role in the group's elaborate schemes to sabotage the Nazis from inside the camp. Dawson's charming screen presence and effortless comedic timing made Newkirk one of the most memorable characters on the show and a favorite among fans. Born Colin Lionel M. on November 20th, 1932, in Gosport, Hampshire, England, Dawson served in the British Merchant Navy before turning to acting. He adopted the stage name Richard Dawson and began performing in comedy and cabaret clubs. After relocating to the United States, he gained early attention with guest roles on television and a stint as a stand-up comedian. His British charm and sharp wit quickly made him a standout in American entertainment, leading to his casting in Hogan's Heroes. In 1965, at the age of 32, Dawson joined Hogan's Heroes as Corporal Newkirk, the only main British character in the otherwise American ensemble. Though he initially used a Cockney accent, Dawson eventually settled into a more refined English tone that better suited his role. Newkirk's quick thinking, sarcasm, and ability to slip into any role or uniform made him an essential part of Colonel Hogan's operations. Dawson's real-life experience as a Navy man lent an air of authenticity to the performance, and his natural chemistry with the rest of the cast, especially Bob Crane, helped elevate the ensemble. After Hogan's Heroes ended, Dawson transitioned smoothly into game show television, where he achieved even greater fame. He became a regular panelist on Match Game, and later the original host of Family Feud, where his charismatic style and signature habit of kissing female contestants became iconic. His hosting tenure turned him into a cultural mainstay, earning him an Emmy Award and securing his place in TV history. Richard Dawson passed away on June 2, 2012 at the age of 79 from complications related to esophageal cancer. Today, he is fondly remembered both as the witty Corporal Newkirk and as one of television's most beloved game show hosts. His contributions to both comedy and pop culture have left a lasting legacy that continues to entertain new generations. Werner Klemperer as Colonel Wilhelm Klink. Werner Klemperer became a television legend through his unforgettable portrayal of Colonel Wilhelm Klink, the bumbling, vain, and easily manipulated commandant of Stalag 13 in the iconic sitcom Hogan's Heroes. As the show's central authority figure and frequent comedic foil, Klink was portrayed as a self-important yet gullible officer, completely unaware that his prisoners were secretly running an underground resistance operation right under his nose. Klemperer's sharp comedic timing, exaggerated mannerisms, and deadpan delivery made Colonel Klink one of the most memorable and quoted characters of classic television. Born Werner Klemperer on March 22, 1920, in Cologne, Germany, he was the son of famed conductor Otto Klemperer. His Jewish family fled Nazi Germany in the 1930s, settling in the United States. Werner went on to serve in the U.S. Army during World War II, where he worked in military entertainment units. After the war, he studied at the Pasadena Playhouse and embarked on a career in theater and television. Fluent in both English and German, Klemperer was frequently cast in military roles, but he never wanted to portray Nazis in a sympathetic light. In 1965, at the age of 45, Klemperer was cast as Colonel Klink in Hogan's Heroes. He accepted the role on the condition that Klink would always be portrayed as a fool, never as a competent or admirable Nazi officer. True to his word, Klemperer brought an exaggerated cluelessness to Klink, obsessed with medals, promotions, and avoiding trouble with his superiors. His comedic chemistry with John Banner and Bob Caine added to the show's charm. Despite playing a Nazi officer, Klemperer's Klink was seen as harmless and laughable, serving as a satirical jab at authoritarian incompetence. Klemperer's performance earned him 2 Primetime Emmy Awards, making him one of the few comedic actors of his time to receive such recognition. After Hogan's Heroes, he returned to his first love, theater and opera, appearing on Broadway and performing in narration roles with symphony orchestras. He also reprised Klink in various skits and tributes, always maintaining his pride in the show's unique tone. Werner Klemperer passed away on December 6, 2000, at the age of 80 from cancer. He is remembered not only as the hilariously inept Colonel Klink, but also as a talented actor and musician who brought depth and intelligence to his craft. Larry Hovis as Sergeant Andrew Carter, the enthusiastic demolitions expert and lovable optimist in Hogan's Heroes. He took on the role in 1965 at 29 years old, bringing a bright-eyed innocence and quirky charm to the Allied team of POWs. Carter was known for his chemistry experiments, disguise skills, and frequent mishaps, often delivering comic relief while remaining a critical part of the team's sabotage operations. Born Larry Hovis on February 20, 1936, in Wapato, Washington, he began his career as a singer and songwriter before transitioning into acting. He started out in nightclubs and television variety shows, eventually landing guest spots on series like Gomer Pyle, USMC, and The Andy Griffith Show. Hogan's Heroes became his breakout role and established him as a familiar face on 1960s television. Hovis's portrayal of Sergeant Carter struck a balance between humor and technical savvy. Though often portrayed as naive or excitable, Carter was a brilliant explosives expert who played a vital role in many of the team's covert missions. His childlike enthusiasm and comic timing gave the show much of its lighthearted tone, while his loyalty to Colonel Hogan and his fellow prisoners made him a valuable and endearing part of the ensemble. After Hogan's Heroes, Hovis continued working in television, both in front of and behind the camera. He became a television writer and producer, contributing to game shows like Liars Club and teaching theater later in life. Larry Hovis passed away on September 9, 2003, at the age of 67, after a battle with cancer. Though his career moved beyond acting, his portrayal of Sergeant Andrew Carter remains a fan favorite, remembered for his humor, heart, and unforgettable smile. Bob Caine as Colonel Robert Hogan, the quick-witted, charismatic leader of the Allied prisoners in Hogan's Heroes. As the central figure in the sitcom, Hogan was a master strategist, effortlessly outsmarting the clueless Nazi officers at Stalag 13. Whether coordinating sabotage missions, smuggling intelligence, or orchestrating elaborate ruses, Hogan always kept his cool with a charming smile and sharp one-liner. Caine's portrayal made Colonel Hogan not only a clever military mastermind, but also a beloved and enduring figure in TV comedy. Born Robert Edward Caine on July 13, 1928 in Waterbury, Connecticut, Caine developed a love for music and entertainment early on. He began his career as a drummer and radio personality, gaining fame in the 1950s as a popular Los Angeles radio host known for his improvisational humor and celebrity interviews. His natural comedic instincts and affable personality led to guest roles on television, including a recurring part on The Donna Reed Show, which caught the attention of producers casting for Hogan's Heroes. In 1965, at the age of 37, Caine was cast as Colonel Hogan, the charming and cunning American officer leading the underground resistance inside a German POW camp. Despite the risky premise of placing a sitcom in a World War II setting, Caine's likable demeanor and sharp comedic timing grounded the show. His character maintained the perfect balance of irreverence, leadership, and heart, becoming a figure of ingenuity and hope for both the prisoners and the audience. Caine's performance became the heart of the show and helped Hogan's Heroes run successfully for 6 seasons. After the show ended, Caine struggled to transition into more serious acting roles, often typecast as Hogan. He turned to theater productions and dinner theater, continuing to perform regularly while seeking a second act in his entertainment career. Despite the challenges, Caine remained enthusiastic and deeply connected to fans, frequently appearing at events and embracing his status as a television favorite. Tragically, Bob Caine was murdered on June 29, 1978, at the age of 49, in a still unsolved case that shocked Hollywood. Though his life was cut short and later clouded by controversy, his legacy as Colonel Hogan endures. Caine's performance remains a shining example of classic television charisma, and his portrayal of Hogan continues to charm audiences decades after its original broadcast. Cynthia Lynn as Fräulein Helga. Fräulein Helga, the efficient and attractive secretary to Colonel Klink, brought elegance, subtle wit, and charm to the first season of the classic sitcom Hogan's Heroes. At 28 years old and newly based in Los Angeles, the actress behind Helga delivered a poised and polished performance, portraying the character as a gatekeeper to Klink's office, often unintentionally aiding the prisoner's covert efforts. Her portrayal helped define the show's signature comedic tone and made Helga a standout among the supporting cast. Born Zinta Valda-Zimelis in Riga, Latvia, she fled her homeland with her mother during wartime and eventually settled in the United States. Pursuing a passion for acting, she studied drama and gradually built her career through a range of television appearances. Before and after Hogan's Heroes, she appeared in several well-known TV series, often in roles that showcased her poise and screen presence. Outside of acting, she authored Escape to Freedom, a memoir detailing her journey from wartime Europe to Hollywood. She passed away at 76 years old. Today, her portrayal of Helga continues to be remembered as an essential part of one of television's most iconic ensemble comedies. Robert Clary as Corporal Louis LeBeau. He took on the role in 1965 at 39 years old, playing a key member of the Allied team imprisoned in a German camp during World War II. LeBeau was known for his culinary skills, his small stature which made him ideal for covert missions, and his fiery loyalty to the Allied cause. Born Robert Max Witterman on March 1, 1926, in Paris, France, Clary's real-life experiences were far more harrowing than the comedic setting of Hogan's Heroes. A Holocaust survivor, he was imprisoned in Nazi concentration camps during World War II and lost many family members to the atrocities. After the war, he emigrated to the United States and began rebuilding his life and career through music, stage, and film. Clary's portrayal of LeBeau added charm, intelligence, and resourcefulness to the show. Fluent in multiple languages and an expert in stealth, LeBeau frequently crawled through tunnels, impersonated enemy officers, and whipped up gourmet meals to distract guards. His character was essential to the prisoners' many successful sabotage missions and escape schemes. His camaraderie with other POWs and clever improvisations brought both humor and tension to the series. Clary's casting also brought rare authenticity to the show, as he was one of the few members of the cast who had experienced the realities of World War II firsthand. Robert Clary passed away on November 16, 2022, at the age of 96, the last surviving original cast member of Hogan's Heroes. Ivan Dixon as Staff Sergeant James Kinchlow, the calm and capable communications expert on Hogan's Heroes. He took on the role in 1965 at 34 years old, becoming one of the show's most grounded and essential characters. Kinchlow, often referred to as Kinch, was responsible for the underground operations radio transmissions, decoding messages, and coordinating sabotage missions, making him the team's lifeline to the outside world. Born Ivan Nathaniel Dixon III on April 6, 1931, in Harlem, New York, he studied drama at North Carolina Central University and later at Case Western Reserve University. Before Hogan's Heroes, Dixon had already made a name for himself with acclaimed performances on stage and screen, including a lead role in Nothing But a Man, 1964, a groundbreaking film in African-American cinema. As Kinchlowy, Dixon brought quiet strength, intelligence, and steady leadership to the ensemble. He was second in command to Colonel Hogan and often took charge during missions, especially when technical expertise was needed. While the show was a comedy, Kinchlowy's character was treated with respect and dignity, an important milestone for black actors on network television in the 1960s. Dixon's performance helped challenge stereotypes and pave the way for greater representation. After leaving Hogan's Heroes in 1970, Dixon continued to act but focused more heavily on directing and producing, working on popular TV series such as The Waltons, Magnum, P.I., and The Rockford Files. Ivan Dixon passed away on March 16, 2008, at the age of 77, due to complications from kidney failure. Leon Askin as General Albert Burkhalter. General Albert Burkhalter, the imposing and sharp-witted superior officer to Colonel Klink, brought a commanding presence and dry humor to the ensemble of Hogan's Heroes. At 64 years old, having recently settled in Los Angeles, the actor delivered a memorable portrayal of the no-nonsense general whose unexpected visits often sent the camp into a flurry of nervous activity. His scenes added tension and comedic rhythm that elevated the show's dynamic. Born Leo Ashkenazi in Vienna, Austria, he began his artistic journey in theater before fleeing Nazi-occupied Europe due to his Jewish heritage. After arriving in the United States, he joined the U.S. Army Air Forces, later resuming his acting career with a strong commitment to his craft. Beyond Hogan's Heroes, he found steady work in television and film, often cast as stern or dignified characters with a touch of satire. Fluent in several languages and deeply engaged in the arts, he earned respect not only for his performances, but for his depth of knowledge and humanity. He passed away at 97 years old. His role as General Burkhalter remains a memorable highlight of classic television. John Banner as Sergeant Hans Schultz. John Banner delivered a beloved and unforgettable performance as Sergeant Hans Schultz in Hogan's Heroes. He took on the role in 1965 at 55 years old, playing a bumbling, good-natured German guard in a World War II POW camp. Schultz was famously known for his catchphrase, "I know nothing," which he often used to avoid involvement in the prisoners' antics. Though technically an authority figure, Schultz was sympathetic and often turned a blind eye to the operations of the Allied prisoners, earning him a special place in viewers' hearts. Born Johann Banner on January 28, 1910, in Vienna, Austria-Hungary, he fled Europe in the late 1930s as the Nazi regime rose to power. Ironically, he went on to portray a German sergeant during the war in a comedic setting. After immigrating to the United States, Banner served in the U.S. Army Air Forces during World War II and began his acting career in the 1940s. He worked steadily in film and television before being cast in his most iconic role. Banner's portrayal of Sergeant Schultz blended physical comedy with a sense of human decency. Though part of the German military, Schultz was portrayed as harmless, cowardly, and largely uninterested in war, often siding with the prisoners in spirit, if not in action. His humorous incompetence provided levity in a show set during wartime, and his exaggerated expressions and catchphrases became cultural staples. John Banner passed away on January 28, 1973, on his 63rd birthday, just a few years after Hogan's Heroes ended. Howard Caine as Major Wolfgang Hochstetter. Major Wolfgang Hochstetter, the fiery and sharp-tongued Gestapo officer, brought unpredictable energy and biting humor to the world of Hogan's Heroes. At 41 years old, working actively in Hollywood, the actor behind Hochstetter crafted a character known for his explosive outbursts, trademark exclamations, and relentless suspicion of the camp's activities. His volatile presence served as a humorous foil to the more oblivious Colonel Klink, amplifying the show's comedic tension and adding a layer of chaos to every scene he entered. Born Howard Cohen in Nashville, Tennessee, he moved to New York at age 13 and quickly shed his Southern accent. He studied drama at Columbia University, mastering a wide range of dialects that became one of his trademarks. His versatility helped him secure steady work on stage and television, leading to his unforgettable role on Hogan's Heroes. Outside of acting, he was a dedicated musician and expert in traditional folk music, particularly skilled on the Appalachian dulcimer. He remained active in the arts throughout his life, both performing and mentoring. He passed away at 67 years old. His portrayal of Major Hochstetter remains one of television's most spirited comedic performances and a fan favorite element of the series.